We got Rick Crosslin here. We're doing some fossil work because Indiana is actually known for some of the fossils.
Hey, we have fossils in the Smithsonian.
Yeah.
In fact, these brachiopods right here are, if you get a chance to visit Washington, D.C., our National Museum, you'll find fossils from Indiana.
Wow.
We're
How about
famous. Because it used to be covered by an ocean a long time ago,
Right.
and so we have some pretty cool marine fossils.
Before we dive into it,
Yeah.
I do have a question.
Sure.
Let's say I found a prehistoric mosquito inside of a piece of amber.
Sure.
Would I be able to extract that DNA and create dinosaurs from it and create a theme park?
Well, if you're in Hollywood, you could.
Okay, all right, perfect. I just wanted to make sure that that was something that...
However, they are, like, for example, first of all, you have to just kind of determine what is a fossil.
Sure.
And I spent a lot of time researching, and I came up with a fossil is preserved evidence of past life.
Okay.
So if you break that down, preserved means it's saved. Past means, well, how old? You know, like, how old does it have to be?
Right.
And I think most paleontologists agree that 10,000 years or older could be.
It's probably old enough.
Old enough. So a mosquito trapped like in the Dominican Republic where you find amber, which has a whole cool show about amber. They are finding ways now to recognize the structure of some DNA. So some things have, for example, this is actually a fossil. This is actually the fur of a woolly mammoth.
Wow.
I mean, so this is it's over 10,000 years old, and it is the actual fur. Most fossils are evidence of something. It could be an imprint or a rock that you think the minerals have replaced the original bone.
Yeah.
So there's different types of fossils, but that's just cool. I mean,
that is super cool.
And so maybe they could do the DNA on that. But my favorite thing about fossils, like when a child or a big guy like me finds a fossil, you're like the first ones to see something that's incredibly old.
Right.
And when you crack it open and see it, it's amazing. Like this fossil right here, this was a fish that probably like 10,000 years ago plus, maybe more like 50,000 years ago, was living in a lake, and they think that a volcano killed a mass amount of fish all at once, and they were preserved. Now, those are the replacements. So this is a famous kind of place out in Wyoming, if you ever get a chance to go. A live fish that was killed quickly. Two things have to happen: no oxygen, no sunlight. And if you think about finding this fossils, the billions that were eaten or didn't make it. So fossils are cool. Indiana fossils are amazing, but all kids like things like this. At the Children's Museum, this is a cast of a dinosaur T-Rex tooth.
That is so cool.
Yeah, I mean, you know, your daughter would love this.
Yes.
And so this is the part you always see devouring everything.
Right.
But the root went way up into its jaw.
Wow.
And this one came from a teacher dig. I took teachers out in South Dakota.
Oh my gosh.
This is the toe bone of an Edmontosaurus. And Edmontosaurus, it was first discovered in Edmonton.
Okay.
But and now your daughter probably knows this, but fossils and animals are named three ways: who found them, where they were found, or what they look like. And so this one was found, the first one, Edmonton, Canada. This is like, we nicknamed this the Cretaceous cow. T-Rex ate this.
That's amazing.
But just to find this toe bone is so cool.
Let me ask you this, because there are probably people out there who go, okay, what's the point? Why dig up this old stuff?
Well, it tells us a lot. These are snapshots into our history of this planet, and so they tell us a lot about, well, there's been mass extinctions and how things have changed, so you can really know where you're going from where you've been. And you know, talk about Indiana fossils. These lights right here are because we burn a fossil fuel: coal, oil, gasoline.
Sure.
But that is because a forest in Indiana millions of years ago, and this is, you won't believe when you see this. When I first cracked this open, this is what that forest looked like.
Gosh.
Now that's from Indiana, and that was a plant. And the fossilized remains. Now, the day I cracked that open, I couldn't believe it. That's from southern Indiana, near our coal.
So how do you know to crack that open?
Well, you crack a whole bunch of them before you find what it is.
You just got to get lucky over time.
But of course, every kid wants to hold this. These are now, you know, that's a megalodon. Giant, mega means giant. Odon means tooth, duh. a big tooth. That's a megalodon tooth from a shark, and you can still find. I'm going to send some shark teeth home for you, for your daughter.
Oh my gosh!
These are fossilized shark teeth, and because we need more paleontologists.
She is all. It's so fun too. They love to go down to the creek.
Yes.
And they like to dig around, and they find a lot of these.
Yes, those are.
What are these?
Well, believe it or not, that's an animal. It's a crinoid, and. A crinoid in our state fossil at one time was Cyanthrocrinides multibrachiatus. Fancy word for easy for me to say. It's an animal that lived on the bottom of the sea that had tentacles, and these are the tentacles of that animal.
Wow.
So if you go to the State Museum, you can see a beautiful fossil preservation of what they look like that are just amazing. Those fossils are in the Smithsonian also.
So they're not just weird shaped rocks.
No, well, they are. They have.
I mean, kind of.
They've been petrified. Of course, this is now. We'll do a field test, Cody. You're a good sport, right?
Yeah.
All right. So smell it. No. Feel it. Go ahead and taste it.
No.
What?
I'm not doing it. I know what it is.
What?
There's not a chance I'm putting my tongue on that.
Why?
It's historic poop, Rick.
No, it's a coprolite. Yes, it is feces, but it's millions of years old. It's a rock. Okay, it's a rock. But anyway, so what does that tell us? Well, tells us. I mean, it would be nice if we knew what that creature ate.
Sure.
But it does tell us something about the creature. So this is probably turtle, prehistoric turtle. This one is one of my favorite fossils. This is from Indiana. This is a cephalopod. Cephala means head, pod means foot. Okay. So basically, this is a creature that looked like a squid had a long shell. And the day we found this, a student found this with me years ago, and this is just an amazing find. And so, finding these fossils is fun. Take your family to road cuts, but we ought to make a fossil if we have time to make one.
Yeah.
Now, when I say make a fossil, we don't have 10,000 years, but this is a model of a fossil. So I prepared the prehistoric mud. Okay. So here is an animal, maybe, and I've got some oil on those. And so take something and imprint it in there. And so this is a shell that died in the bottom of the ocean a long time ago in Indiana. Maybe there was a storm or something. Right. And then this one died, so push that one in there. And probably there might have been a shark that came by, and we push that one in there. And you push those in, and then what we'll do here is, you got a nice imprint. I'm going to send a kit home like this to Maddie. Okay, thank you. It will cost you nothing except for the love of fossils. So this is plaster of Paris. Now, believe it or not, this is a mineral called gypsum. And if you go down to southern Indiana, a place called Shoals, Indiana.
Love Shoals. Jug rocks.
Yeah, it's amazing. I went down 525 feet underground where they mine this. For the last 40 years, they've been mining this. And you know what this is. This is in your house. It's drywall. Really? So gypsum is drywall, and it's made of plaster of Paris. You probably heard of plaster of Paris. So I'll send a bag home with you. And it's got the name plaster of Paris because just north of Paris, France, is a large deposit of gypsum. And the King of France said, use this on your walls because it's a fire retardant. So we'll mix that up. And to save time, I'll let you pour that on there. But I did one yesterday just to show you the reveal, and we'll pour that one. So go ahead and stir that a little bit. And now we got to take these out because remember, this is past evidence of preserved life. So I'm going to pull these out while you're doing that. And you're going to, now the cool thing you can tell your daughter is it's not going to look exactly like the living creature.
I pushed that one in there a little
bit. Yeah, I know that. You and every kid that I know does that. All right, so gently pour that on there, and it's got some bubbles that your gypsum or your plaster of Paris, and there you go. And what I like to do is shake a little bit, get the bubbles out. Okay. And it's okay if it goes over. And then we can have a hanger for it. Okay, so I did that yesterday. Let's check this one out. Okay. Now, it's not 10,000 years old. This is some model. Scientists use models, but this will give you the same kind of deal. So you're going to be the first ones ever seen this one.
I cannot wait.
We pulled it out, and
oh, look at that.
There you go.
How cool.
So you have the mold and the cast. Often when you find a fossil, you'll have the mold and the cast. Can you imagine footsteps? There's places in Africa where volcanic ash, and there's a family that walked across it, and it's now preserved, for we can learn how tall they were, how far they go. We don't know where they're going.
Rick,
I love fossils.
I do too. We could talk about it for hours. Maddie's going to love this segment. Felicia, how cool.
Yep.
I know, that was awesome.